Rage Dave. I'm in the comic room. Today is Thursday, first day of the weekend, and today for me is going to be a day of work and rest. It's going to be rest because I'm not running. I am hoping to play in the comic room a little bit today, but I've got a full day ahead of me, and I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I've got a business, as some of you know, and this time of month that involves taxes and payroll and all that good stuff that comes along with responsibility, paying bills and all that great stuff. So let's get on with the comic book stuff, because that's ultimately what's important. Is we're going to talk comic books. We're going to say hi to Ben Compton and Mike R201, great friends of the channel and the YouTube comic community in general. Thank you guys for being in here. CFAP, as always, nice to see you. So I forget all the things I put in the description. I'm going to have to check. Yeah, Matt, I'm bringing down the GDP. We're trying to slow things down and, create comic book content, stuff that you can't live without. A little bit of time in the comic room. That's funny. So, I want to talk about a handful of things, but I'm going to start out with the Superman stuff. Alan Garrett of AFTA Comics, great radio broadcaster, collector. I hear that he's just a terrific guy in real life, and I think the world of him. So he put out a video a few days ago that he showed off some very rare, I think, black and white Superman posters from the early 70s. James, nice to see you, my friend. James Higgins in the chat. So he put out a video, and I've shared with a lot of you guys, probably everyone who's watched the video. I have memory issues. I have a medication that it's not one of the known side effects, but for me it screws around with my memory, and I forget things. I mean, literally, there are times I will pick up a comic book that's a key issue, and I have zero memory of what's going on in it. Stuff that I know, like right off the top of my head most times, and then sometimes it just escapes me. Well, anyway, Alan Garrett put out a video of these great Superman posters that I've never seen, and to extend it further, Metarog has never seen, and that guy's seen everything. So I know it's not just me. Good morning, Avery Kelly. So he put out this video, and I said, man, I got this Superman wallpaper that looks just like that. I think it's the same artwork. And this wallpaper, I'll show you what I've got. It came out in the early 70s, and there's actually two versions of it. So this is not a full 8-foot section, but it's actual wallpaper. It's real heavy-duty stuff made in the USA. And, any lucky kid would have woke up every day and looked over at Superman doing great things. So Alan Garrett, this is the wallpaper I have. And as anyone who's seen Alan's video, and as Alan will know, this looks nothing like Alan Garrett's posters. It could not be further. If this was a poster of Scrappy-Doo cartoons, it would look more like Alan Garrett's posters. Has no similarity other than it's Superman on there. So Alan, I was wildly mistaken. I hadn't seen this stuff in a while. It sits over here, but as sometimes happens when you have a comic room, there's a lot of stuff you don't get to. So it's a pretty short repeat pattern on it. This is basically it. You'll see here if I scroll it back down. The Superman red logo, red and gold, to the Superman red and gold logo there. But it's still awesome, and I still love it. I've only seen, I don't know anyone else who owns a piece of this, but there is a version of this that I dragged my feet and I missed out on a long time ago. That was black and white. And I think that's what caught my eye more than anything. So anyway, Alan Garrett, I promised you I would show off that wallpaper. And that's it. And we might show off some more Superman stuff, but I'm going to move on. Please remind me later if you want to see more Superman stuff. And the other thing Alan Garrett commented about, he asked me if I had 9 copies of the Marvel value stamp book sitting. Let me put on your careful anti-nausea medicine right here, I have Marvel value stamp books, and I have 7 of them up there, but that includes this one, which Silver Age Dave tip of the day is think outside the box. Hey, Eric Porter's in here. Good morning, Eric. Eric's a great local collector. Nice to see you. And actually, I showed off a long box the other day. I wasn't certain when I started going through it where it was from, but it was actually Eric's, some of the books he was thinning out that he brought me in a year or two ago and sold me, again with the memory thing. I don't remember stuff. And so those were Eric's books. And Eric, I saw a comment I don't think I've responded to. Eric assured me those books were all read and all loved. And based on condition, he's a careful reader like Silver is. So thank you, Eric, for being in here. So this is my Silver Age Dave tip of the day. Think outside the box. I love the Marvel value stamp books. I own a bunch of them because I love them for what a great piece of history they are. Well, this one I picked up on the super cheap quite a while ago. As you can see, it had really terribly rusted staples. Okay, it's eating away. Eventually that destroys the book. And so what I did, thinking outside the box, I decided, you know what, I can't save those. Let me show you one by itself. And you can see right through there, see how big those holes are. Okay, so what I decided is I'm just going to make lemonade. So I took the book apart, which really did not take much work, as you can imagine, and I laminated. I have a big laminating machine for my business, and so I just put these in. And now what happens when good friends come over to visit and drink a beer with Old Silver, they want to look at these. And rather than opening up a good condition Marvel value stamp book, we can actually just go through and they can see the stamps that should be in there. Obviously, this is incomplete. There's no stamps on it. But what's beautiful about these is you don't have to have the stamps. I actually prefer, speaking of the black and white, I prefer them like this. I think it's great. This is the famous Gwen Stacy stamp, and that came right out of, hang on guys, I'm going to grab something. Let me see here. This is a page. I had an ASM 42, talking about tip of the day. I had an ASM 42 that was in trashed condition, and I salvaged what I could out of it. So this is the actual page where she says, spoiler alert, you hit the jackpot. Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot. Very famous scene in there. And did I say Gwen? I don't think I meant to say Gwen, but Gwen is always on my mind. And it says Mary Jane Watson right on there. So I just, another, come on, Dave. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Someone's listening. I appreciate that. Steven Spock, nice to see you. So anyway, that is where the artwork came from, is ASM 42. So when you get those comics, I talked about, this the other day, getting coverless comics. There's always something that is terrific. Look at that Roadmaster ad in there with Santa Claus. If Metarog and the fellas ever do another Christmas special, that's a cool ad to show. Anyway, Alan Garrett, I have 7 of these sitting up on the shelf, and I have a couple mint condition ones that are gonna get submitted here pretty shortly to CBCS for grading. But anyway, that's the Superman stuff for Alan Garrett, friend to all. That's what he's known as in real life, friend to all. He's got a T-shirt, and they gave him a coffee mug. So moving on, let's talk about New Comic Book Day, because I have not been really heavily hitting New Comic Book Day. Obviously, I'm a fan of the new Robin series that came out. I expect big time for the dumbest of reasons. Damian Wayne looks exactly like my son Andrew, and acts like Andrew. Andrew's a little bit, we worry about him. I sleep with one eye open. So I bought it because of that, but the more I researched, the more I like the series. And this is Robin number 2. I went big time on Robin number 2. Not as big time as I did on the first one, but I ordered a lot. I've got my Diamond box here, or not Diamond, whoever's the distributor now. And this is a great cover for Robin 2. I really like it. And so I bought 50 of these. I pre-ordered these, and my good friend Chris at Rupp's Comics gives me a nice discount for ordering in bulk. So I got a nice discount. I didn't pay cover on these. And regrettably, I ordered 30 of these. I really love this cover. In retrospect, I wish I ordered 50 because I have so many number ones and I would have so many of these. This issue itself was not as earth-shattering for me as Robin number 1. But that being said, Robin 1 is one of the best things I've read in a long, long time. So I'm really excited about Robin 1. This is, there's first appearances, I think, in here. And the artwork is just terrific. The characters in here, there's Flatline. And they've got a bunch of first appearance, I think, in here. And I think a lot happens, but they had a lot of ground to make up because number 1 was just non-stop action. So I'm really happy with it. I've actually increased my order a little bit on Robin 3 and Robin 4, which both look really exciting to me. Robin number 3 has a character in it, which is going to be right. I'll show the character. Which is right here, Hawk, okay? And so he's got a cover for issue number 3, which is like this. Manipul, I forget the name of the artist, but it's a really cool cover on number 3. So I'm ordering a lot of those, 3 and 4. So that's that, okay? That's Robin number 2. I want to say hi to Johnny's in here and Drawworks is in here. Great to see you guys. Gotta run. Absolutely love the channel, Dave. Take care. Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it. I want to talk about this book I picked up yesterday. It's a first print of this Red Room. I think it's got a little bit of heat. And I don't know what's going on with these independent horror comics going absolutely crazy. I haven't read them, okay? So no spoilers, but I haven't bought in yet to the craziness that's going on with Something is Killing the Children and Department of Truth, and you know, there's another one, Kids on the Lake or something like that, which are probably great reads. Frankly, I'm gonna wait till a trade comes out, and I'm gonna try to read them that way. I prefer that way, getting all 5. Back in the 80s, Stephen King did a monthly subscription deal for the Green Mile. I don't know anyone who is a Stephen King fan. I used to read everything Stephen King, and I remember, I think it was, I don't know what time of year it was, but Stephen King came out with the Green Mile, but the pre-release he did was you bought it, I think, a chapter at a time, and so every month you got a part of the book. I wish I still had those. I don't have them, but it was a tough way for me to read the Green Mile. I loved it when the segments came in, but it was a hard way to read it versus you know, any of the other Stephen King books, It or Pet Sematary, which made me cry, by the way, when I read Pet Sematary. It was a tough way to read them. So my thoughts on the horror books, I'm not squanching them or saying, oh, what are you guys doing? But I don't get it. I don't get why these first print books are going absolutely insane, and I don't know why second and third and fourth and fifth printings are going absolutely insane. Thinking back, please refresh my memory, and I'm not including EC books or Golden Age pre-code horror. I'm not including those. But talking about Silver Age and Bronze Age, I don't know any of those stories or any of those books that held incredible value over time, okay? And there's going to be individual episodes, I'm going to call them episodes, there's going to be individual issues that are special or, you know, key first appearances that do obviously hold their value and go up. But I don't know of horror titles that do what superhero titles can do over time. Okay, when we compare stuff like this, even if you go to minor keys, the superhero stuff has always held value, where the horror stuff falls off. It's, you know, a time and a place, and maybe the world right now is in a scary place, so everyone is clamoring for the scary place stuff. But I don't get it. So I did buy this one because I saw it on someone's channel. I follow quite a few channels, and they said it looked interesting. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot for, you know, $7. It's kind of a high price, but it's a thick book. There's a lot to it. Self-contained first issue, 64 pages, and I haven't read it yet. But I wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about my thoughts on the horror stuff going on. I don't own any issues of Something is Killing the Children or Department of Truth or, you know, any of those. So let me know what you think on that. I'm not telling you what to do, and if you want to be a hater, then it's unfounded, because I'm just trying to figure it out like everyone else. I want to say hi to Randy. Nice to see you. That's just the one I was thinking of. Okay, well, I don't know which one. Exile State Comics is in here. Nice to see you. Love when Exile jumps in. Exile State, if you can do me a favor, if you can put in a link, one for yourself so people can sub you up, but can you put in a link for Alan Garrett at After Comics? Because that guy, he puts up some things. Here's what I've always said. If you've got a minute and 34 seconds to kill and you want to have a good time, Alan's your guy. Wait a minute. I mean that if you want to watch a video for a minute and 34 seconds and see something you've never seen before, Alan's your guy. His last video on that Superman is incredible. So thanks for being in here. And I want to say hi to Optimus Crime. Optimus Crime. See, I can't even talk. I need a glass of water, I think. Optimus Prime is in here. Autobots Transform says. And I saw someone else in here. I love seeing Keith Larson. Great seeing you, Keith. Thank you for being in here. And I know I said hi to Steven Spock, but I'm going to be erring on the side of caution. So Marvel has this Stormbreakers thing out. Pretty cool little freebie. And this book was, I didn't personally hit Free Comic Book Day. My son hit and got some stuff for himself. But I happened to see this one at Rupp's yesterday, and I grabbed it. And Raising a Reader, isn't that what I was just talking about in the last video? And a couple people pointed out, you know, the dollar boxes at LCS's and in different ways, in trades and you know, things like that. Different ways to read affordably. That's the big key. And I didn't read through this. I did flip through it. But basically, it does make a difference in the life of a child. Having materials handy that that they can learn words that are otherwise a little bit outside their you know, their world. Okay, they can learn things. And I'm not talking about some of the words. Some comic books now are getting a little graphic and are getting, in my opinion, a little vulgar, which I don't like. So you got to screen the books nowadays a little bit more. But you know, getting kids reading is so important. This one I thought was really cool. Now, I don't want to get political. I don't like when a company forces views on me. Okay, if you make shoes, make the best shoes. I'm a runner. I love companies that make great shoes. I'll make my own decisions on everything else. Oh, Ollie's South, he said. Well, Randy, I hit Ollie's North. Ollie's South, there's lots. They got in new comic books, Randy, and I bought 5, I think, out of there of the $6 for 10. There's tons of new comics in there. They just must have got a new shipment in. So yeah, there's lots there to choose from. Hey, good morning, Mastodon. Nice to see you. So anyway, this NFL Rush Zone, whether you like the political commentary of places or not, I'm a bigger fan of college football myself. Go Buckeyes, right? OHIO. But my kids are true NFL fans. They love the NFL. They love the pro level. So I saw this thing and I thought, man, them boys are going to love it. And that's the other thing, is I'm not going to try to push my beliefs. I'm going to guide my kids and then eventually let them make their own decisions. And if they're voting different from what I'm voting, it's not like I let them down. It's not like, oh, I didn't brainwash them enough. It's just, hey, I'm going to lead my life a certain way and I'm going to make my own decisions with all information available. So, NFL, great job tying into comic books. I haven't read this yet. I hope that it's a reasonable issue and just fun. That's what comics should be, is just fun. Then I found this, Yo Gabba Gabba, which looked really fun. So that one's going to go to the kids and they're going to love it and probably have a good time reading it. It says Wild Brain Entertainment, Magic Store, Oni Press, and I forget which one. Justin, maybe you can help me out. There was a Oni Press book that just hit a top 10 seller in I cannot for the life of me remember what issue it was. I think I saw it either on a show that you are part of, or I forget what show it was. Maybe Lords of the Long Box show or something. So I picked up 2 copies of this 0 Point, Fortnite 0 Point. That's a number 2 and a number 3. And I do have buried around here somewhere, I do have the first issue that I was lucky enough to pick up. And I'm going to leave, here it is. This is the one I picked up of the number 1. And my plan is I am going to leave these in these poly bags, okay? I'm not buying these for the code. I did do a big pre-order on a later printing of this number 3. I have 25 of them coming, and I'm doing that because I do have kids that like playing Fortnite. So I'm going to get them a bunch of them that they can just open and get the codes out. Now, here's the thing. I was chatting a little bit with Comic Tom, and I have ideas for videos that are a little beyond me. But what I offered up to him, and maybe he expanded on this, I don't know. But what I shared with Comic Tom is what's interesting about this issue being polybagged is that the code within it is only good for 2 years. Okay, so what I was wondering is on a modern issue that has a code, I picture it, is it kind of like the tattoos? Like the tattoos are missing from ASM 238. How does it affect the value? Okay. Ultimate Fallout 4, obviously the polybag affects the book, so you have to have those pressed. But how does it affect this book, whether the code is good or not, after the 2-year point when the codes, I'm told the codes go bad? So I'm not smart enough. I'm not a video game guy. I was just wondering about that. But I'm going to leave these bagged, and someday someone will say, oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Silver Age Dave left them in the bag. And this is, this one here is a variant cover number 4, first printing. And this one looks like a second printing of issue 2. That's what I'm surmising, okay, to use big words that I might have learned from a comic book. I picked up, moving on, in addition, I had not purchased this Miracle Molly in Batman 108. I did not own any of these, and I don't know if that's a big character or not, but they had a bunch of these in great condition on the shelf still, so I thought, well, I better own one just for the sake of owning one. And so I have that. They did have some Berserkers, okay? And I didn't go hog wild. I bought 1 copy of, hey, Tiger Fist is in here. Nice to see you, Tiger Fist. And I think I said hi to Mastodon already. Oh, Silver Age Dave rocks. Thank you so much. Biggest collection of Robin 1 in private hands. Maybe so. Maybe so. I love it. Rups happen to have a lot of these Berserkers. I do own a copy of number 1. I bought just for the sake of owning it. And I'll tell you what, again, with the hype, here are my thoughts on Berserker number 1. If I was Image Comics, I would be lawyering up. Let me grab 2 comic books real quick. Hang on. Smoke them if you got them, guys. I'm going to grab something here real quick. And I want to see. Here's one. And Hang on. Hang on, guys. You know what? We're going to grab this, and we're going to grab this. These two we're going to grab. And I'm going to put this back over there. Let me see. All right. I read Berserker #1. And if I'm Image Comics, I'm going to lawyer up before this thing goes too far, because here's what I think happened with Berserker. Okay, again, no haters here. I'm just giving my opinion. Berserker #1, which this is a chromium cover of it. Okay, must be a fourth printing. Okay, but I like that shininess, so I bought it. Berserker #1. What I think happened, as I'm getting to it slowly, Boom Studios in Keanu Reeves, who I love Keanu Reeves. I love him. I think what he did is he took Lazarus 1, which he must have read, the Lazarus series in general, and he must have also read the Old Guard, okay, and said, hey, what if I combine those two together and made it into something that I could play in the movie? That's what I think of Berserker 1. When I first read it, I don't know, a couple months ago, whenever it came out, all I could think to myself is, well, wait a minute. I spec'd on both of those books. I probably have 50 or more copies of Old Guard #1, which I'm still sitting on. I'm a funny speculator because I buy them and then they get hot and I don't sell them, and then they drop down and I still have them. That's my problem, is I don't want to sell. And that's okay, because that's the way I collect. I'm happier still having all of them. And I've probably got 50 copies of Lazarus 1 also. I love both series. Both have strong female leads. And so there, we're talking about all kinds of stuff that doesn't matter. But I'm sharing that. Hey, everyone, stand up and clap. It's the Bad Avenger in the house. Nice to see a Bad Avenger. We're going high energy Thursday for everybody before I got to go to work. So I bought a bunch of copies of this. Not a bunch, just 4 different copies. So this is fourth printing of #1. This is #2. This looks to be a second cover for #2, which I have to read. I haven't read it. This looks to be a second print of #2, which I thought was a neat cover. And then this one is a #2 first print. Okay, so I bought those Berserkers. Okay, so in the long run, I think Keanu Reeves is worth betting on. I haven't bought big on those, but I think it's an interesting series. I don't know what the print runs are. So I did enjoy, as much as I think it's a little bit of a ripoff of Lazarus and Old Guard. I did enjoy it. It's right up my alley. I really like that kind of stuff, and I love the John Wick series and really everything that Keanu Reeves is in. I really enjoy. So I'm not saying it's not going to be a big deal. It's just I haven't invested a lot in that. And then the last one I bought yesterday, I don't think got great reviews. I haven't read it myself yet. Is this Spawn #318? And I'm not a big Spawn fan, but I am a McFarlane fan. I really, really enjoyed that special signing he did, and watching the videos of him laughing and joking and telling stories. I thought that was so human. A lot of these guys, I think, will get pretty self-focused, and McFarlane seems to me like he's as down to earth as possible, considering what he's brought to our hobby and community. So big fan of his, and so I am supporting whatever this universe that's going to be starting. I want to support that in my own little way, and so I bought those. So let's see. I see Distorted Reality. You flipper. Yeah, I'm the worst kind of flipper because I just buy them and hold them. But you know what? That might take us into the next category today. Is I a few years ago, I submitted a lot of books to CBCS. And I sent in books that were unique or rare. I'll show a couple of those right now for everybody who wants to see them. I submitted a bunch of books to CBCS that were unique or rare. This one is a 35-cent variant of Star Wars #3. I had 5 of these that I sent in, and I sold one of them that was graded real high to a guy he's trying to put together the highest graded full-on collection of Star Wars, the whole 1 to number, what is it, 107 I think is the last one. So he bought a 9.4 for me, and he was able to get it to a 9.6 on CGC. So that is pretty cool. Southern Comic Geek is in the house. Nice to see you, Southern Comic Geek. Southern Comic Geek is my official ambassador of Walmart books. He's the guy that turned me on to this, which a couple of us in Toledo benefited from buying the Walmart packs that had this pulped comic in it. They were pulped, so no one else was able to buy these, but they made their way into the Walmart pack. So I got 11 of those. Thank you so much, Southern, for that tip. Really appreciate it. So CBCS did this for me, and in this one, which is a funny story how I got this book. This is a Logan's Run #6, first Thanos solo story, and Drax appearance. That's a 35-cent variant, which is wildly rare. I just never see these anywhere. And hey, look at that. Thank you for people out there saying hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. I've seen that a couple times and really appreciate that, Mastodon. Thank you. And yeah, I agree, Mastodon, that there's not enough for a case because it's all like make-believe land. But again, if I was Rucka, I would have something to say about it, because you got Rucka on both of these books. So I think what Keanu should do is slice that guy in for a piece, and make Greg less likely to sue, because it is shockingly similar. Okay, so Slim Comics is in here. Nice to see you, Slim. And then this is my my rarest probably book. It's a one of a kind. You know what? I'm going to grab the one. I've showed this before. I've shown this one before. This is what it's supposed to look like, and this was one that came off the line without color and was supposed to be trashed, but didn't get pulped. It somehow made its way into the hands of a fella, and after he passed away, he was an engineer, took good care of his books. Well, he had 1,500 comic books, and I go to church with the family, and they reached out to me and said, Dave, you buy comics, would you be interested? And I bought them, and this was in there. And it's really cool because the color offset, you lose the title, you lose all the price and the DC logo, you lose some of the words on the cover, and it's just such a unique and special book. Well, anyway, my friend Cody, I submitted these to him. He's a rep for CCS, and he did a great job on these. He pressed them out for me and took good care of me. So what's happening this coming week, Cody is coming here. He lives an hour away, but he's driving here, and he is going to go through the comic room with me, and we're going to start submitting hundreds of books to CBCS. Bad Avenger and I are kind of in a similar spot, that this would be a mess. Other than the wall books, I do have a box of key books, and I'm going to start submitting hundreds of books to CBCS. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be submitting a lot of multiples into them that I will sell, that will pay for the books that I want to keep being slabbed up. And in some cases, I talked about, why would you slab? I'm a big fan of raw books. I don't own a lot of slabs. But shortly after I picked up this book, my plan was to read it And once I got through the first couple of pages, my hands were shaking so much just having this book open that I decided I'm never going to open it. And I actually wrote that up on the back of this. So this is a book that might get submitted for grading, and we'll see what would happen with it. But Cody's going to come here special, and he's going to help me pick out what books to turn in. Yeah, CBCS is who we're using. Bad Avenger, and I know there's been a lot of people for a long time who have said CGC, 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 and I have the vast majority of my books are CGC. I like them. I think the CBCS case lagged for a long time, but the new case, which I don't own one yet, I love the way they look. They look sound, and the label looks great, and plus, I don't have to mail these in now, and I don't have to stand in line at a con. The CBCS rep is coming to me. He's going to go through the books, and one of my goals is we're going to look for 9.9s and 10.0s. He's going to go through, if I have 10 copies of a book, we're going to look for the best of the best of the best, and try to lock some of those down, possibly in Lazarus and Old Guard, Super Sons #1, Secret Wars 8, I've got a stack of them, and the list goes on and on. So that's happening over the next few weeks. Maybe I'll make a video and I'll show you guys, one of my key boxes I have where I have things in it that, I'm going to be submitting. So we'll talk about that. Let me see what else I said I was going to talk about. I might have got through this thing. I don't know. Horror thoughts we talked about, Superman stuff, new comic book day, submission choices. Okay, so do you guys want to see some books out of a, if we're going to go live, we're at 36 minutes. I could go a little longer. I'm going to put these Robin ones away. Those have to get bagged and boarded. And how about the price of comic book boxes? Oh my goodness. I have hundreds of comic book boxes with comics in them. And fortunately, I've always saved the old junk boxes because I don't know, temporarily, like lumber prices have gone crazy. I don't know how I can afford comic book boxes, even ordering them direct at discount. It just seems, there go a couple of slabs, but they're okay. Everything's okay, guys. They fell in a soft place, like my soft brain. Let me grab a box here, and I'll show you one of my key boxes that I have. And what I'll do is sometimes people will make a video and they'll say, "Oh, this book is hot," and then I will start showing them. So let's see if I get back to the live chat here. I don't want to miss anything. So we have Grotto Orloff is in the house. Grotto, you and I see a lot of things the same, my friend. I'm really loving your live streams. Grotto does great live streams. And Heroes to Icons, always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Nice to see you. Kingpen Comics, longtime viewer. Thank you so much, Kingpen. Appreciate that. Oh, these I picked up at a garage sale the other day. I have a local buddy who's a bit of a picker, and he calls me when he sees comic books. And there was a lot of 90s stuff that was all red, all lots of spine ticks. But these books I picked up just for picking them up. No particular reason. The Splitting Image #1, he had a couple copies of this, so I kept one, my buddy kept one, and I paid like $1 a piece for these, which I probably overpaid. We have this Vision #1. Let me try to get that without bending it, if I hold it the right way. So he had that in there, and that one's in pretty good condition. He had a Super Soldiers #3. He had a bunch of copies of this. This was the nicest one, so I took that one. And then he had the Super Soldiers #5. Okay, so I've got a pretty deep Captain America run, and I've got all the new hot books in there, I guess. Hey, Johnny Two Chips is in here. Nice to see you. Thank you. So anyway, so what I do is sometimes I'll put books into what I'll call a key box, where I just kind of group them. And I've always thought, you know what, if I ever submit things, then I'll have them together. And some of these books you've seen before or I've shown. But this one, is pretty cool. Now I guess it's a big deal. Speaking of McFarlane, this is Hulk 345, and for those of you who have been watching the channel a while, you'll know that my friend Ray Tran, maybe Drawworks, I think is Ray. He did this for me, which was really a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. He has a live video, and he did this custom artwork for me. He's done a couple of things. I'll grab the other one because I just such a wonderful gesture. I've had people over the last few years that will send me things, and I appreciate anything that anyone does that's generous that way. But Ray did both of these for me, which was absolutely beautiful. What great talent. Well, anyway, and I'll leave this one up here since we're just having fun. I'll leave those right there. Hopefully that does not fall. So this Hulk 345, I've got a couple copies of those. I don't think I'll submit these, but I might. Yeah, I don't want that to fall. I gotta stand it up a little taller, I think. Do that. So so I've got those in there. I've got this. This is an unread Sentry #1. Hey, good morning, Felix. Nice to see you, sir. And it's a black cover, but it's a beautiful condition one because it was unread. So I found that, and I can't really tell you why these are such a big deal, but I've seen these on videos. There's a Black Widow #1. Again, same type of situation. It's a black cover, but that's a perfect condition one. And just happened to be in the box, so I pulled that out. Oh, looks like I got a couple of those. And both of those are tick-free and beautiful. So we've got those in the key box. And the reason I do that is I don't really have time. When someone says, oh, this is a big book, kind of set these aside, I don't have time to go and rebag and reboard. So they go into the key box until I have time to properly label them. Otherwise, they're just sitting in a long box that I may sell without remembering that they were important. These I showed off very recently. Reggie Comics did, and then I did. Which one of my favorite characters of all time is Vigilante. So this was the first appearance of Vigilante that I love. So Adrian Chase, of course. And that's a nice signed one on there. George Perez, beautiful cover. I have, and a lot of these might end up with CBCS. So this is another one I found. This was an unread. A lot of these are unread. Beautiful spine on that. This is a Star Wars Heir to the Empire. I've got a pretty nice collection of Star Wars books. So every now and then there's a hot book. This is Captain America #6. Again, it's an unread that was just sitting in a long box. I don't think this one even had a board. But it was in there, maybe not even a bag. Sometimes that happens. But we had that one. So that one will probably go to CBS, both of those. This Batman Beyond newsstand was in there. Again, this is a beautiful unread, no spine ticks on it. And, you know, my thoughts on pressing is I am probably still going to have these pressed. If they carry a big enough value, another McFarlane. I think this is a McFarlane cover. Maybe not, but correct me if I'm wrong. This one is beautiful spine on it. That's Batman #423. Maybe it's not a McFarlane. I don't remember. So let me put these back in there. Those are going to go to CBCS. I've got this Capes #1. I have a few copies of this. I have one signed and one unsigned, both 99/8, and that's a first preview of The Walking Dead is in this Capes #1. So it's pretty cool. I forget how many pages the preview is. I don't have it written down, but it might be a 6-page preview or something like that. And it's just the beginning of the Walking Dead story. And then this one's pretty rare. That's Blip. And it's a first appearance of Donkey Kong in comics, okay? And And I was a little too old, but this Matthew kid, I think, is a famous actor from maybe the 90s. And it's a rare issue. And every now and then I come across it and I buy them. So that's a neat one. Those will go to CBCS. Here's one for Exile State. I think you are going to love this next issue, Justin, if you're still in here. Maybe the rest of you guys will too. This is the silent issue of G.I. Joe. That's issue number 21. And what I have here is 3 Minty Mint newsstand number 1s. And look at the spine on those babies. As some of you know, I have not a bunch of these, but I have a bunch. So these were never read. And I actually gave one of these away, I think, to Bub's Comics. He was one of the winners of my 100-200 contest. So there's the second one. And here's the third one. And I think these are easy 9/8. And again, I'm going to pay to press them just because that's the smart money, is pay for the press. So these are going to be pressed and graded with CBCS. And I'm pretty excited specifically on these to find out how they come back. I've got these Vengeance of Bane, and I own a bunch of these that are first and second print, but you know those will go in. I think that was an underrated series, this Vengeance, and those are a heavy square bound book there, and I forget, it escapes me what they're called, but I've got a bunch of these Secret Wars number 1s. This one happens to be the Heir version of it, where it has a color printing difference in it. But I'm going to send in probably 4 or 5 of these that I will be able to sell a couple off and maybe not lose my mind. I've got the 2001 Space Odyssey. This is first appearance of Machine Man, and I do own one of the 35-cent variants that will go in, and I'll probably send in the 30-cent copies too. Get those graded out. Hopefully you guys are having fun seeing some of these things. Oh, this one of my favorites. I talk about this issue a lot. Is a Neil Adams. It's Hot Wheels number 6, and this one happens to be another one that is in really beautiful shape. Great Neil Adams cover. That's kind of overlooked, but you got a Mad Santa on there. Someone was naughty. That's all I can say. And so what are you gonna do? Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, this is an interesting one. I bought a bunch of these Supergirl number 1s, and I forget. I think there's a Masters of the Universe preview or something in here that happens. Yeah, there it is. So I own a bunch of these that are graded, and I buy them. If I see them in perfect shape, I pick them up. So it's got a 16-page comic preview of Master of the Universe. So it's not DC Presents. I think, what is it, issue 47 or 46? It's not that issue where it's the true first appearance, but it's pretty cool preview before Master of the Universe. And I own a couple Master of the Universe number 1s that I think I'm also going to send in to get slabbed up. Anyone who follows the channel knows I love Machine Man, so I have a couple slabbed. I'm going to send in a bunch more, but there's another beautiful one right there. So that Batman, was it 423? That one was a McFarlane cover, so thank you for that. Okay, so I own a bunch of these. This is Thor. This is the Mighty Thor number 1, which I think has caught a little fire with the Jane Foster. And I happen to own a bunch of the What Ifs with the What If Jane Foster found the Hammer of Thor. But that's a pretty cool one. And then this Thor Fried Pie variant on there is pretty neat. I like that. And I'm not sure why. I've got this one in here also. It says Variant Edition. So that's a Thor number 1. But I don't know if these things are big books or medium books or what they are. But I like them, and I'm a Thor fan. I know Exile State is a Thor fan. So I'm just sending those just for the sake of sending them. Shout out to Jim's Comics. This Venom number 3, I bought a few of those, and they're unread and minty mint, like he said. Keep them minty mint. So that's I think a second print right there, which I really liked. But I've got a couple of those I'm going to send in. Hey, Graphic Man's in here. What else we have in here? We've got this Amazing Spider-Man First Silk. I think it's First Silk. I might be wrong, but number 4 there. Suicide Squad. I own a couple of these, so I'm going to send this one in. Look pretty nice. And we've got this Peter Porker, the Marvel Tales with Tails. And I've got a few of these, so I'm going to send probably a couple of them in. I just always thought it was a fun Marvel Tales spoofy kind of issue. And it was only the one that came out of that. I've got a few of these Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. Another one that I couldn't believe. Hang on a second. Another one that I could not believe. Let me find my Spider-Man specials. See if I can find something here. I might not be able to find them in a hurry, but I'm going to try to find them. Yeah, this one, which I own more than this, but I'm just grabbing them out of the box. I was shocked. I guess not shocked. I was surprised to find that this thing heated up, and that's the problem. Is I don't keep track of values because I don't sell comics typically. But I've got probably twice this many that are just sitting around. Only one newsstand, but I'll probably send some of those in. So see, like that, those will end up maybe in a box like this where they're kind of key. Let me put these back where they go. It's always nice in my long boxes. I have hold on, guys. I put these back in there. In my long boxes, what I do is I have like Amazing Spider-Man annuals and Amazing Spider-Man follows. Okay, and then I'll have like Spectacular Spider-Man annuals, then the issue follows, and so on and so forth. But I always have a area in my long boxes called specials, and any weird stuff or one shots or things like that, those all go under specials. Well, that one just has sat under specials for a long time. I just happened to find them the other day. We're kind of misfiled. Did I show that one? I think I showed that one already. Maybe not. Yeah, I think I showed that one, the Peter Parker number 1. I got a few of these Booster Golds. I've got a few of these Galactus number 1s. I think are good issues to send in. This one, I happen to own a bunch of these She-Hulks, and I've got 3 newsstands and a direct. And it's a funny issue. For years ago, when I'd buy collections, everyone had one of these She-Hulks in there, and so I just I didn't go out of my way to buy them. Whatever I paid, if I paid on average, 20 cents per comic or 30 cents or 10 cents per comic, that's how they came to me. Is just in that just as collections came. So we've got those. Then we've got, we've got this Black Cat number 1, great 20-cent number 1 issue. We've got a Luke Cage Hero for Hire. I've got a couple of these, so I'll send in at least one of those. Great cover. And I love how the colors on these, it's like, did they do that on purpose? Did they coordinate them? I just love them both. Pretty unique and special color patterns on them. This is, of course, our first Howard the Duck in Fear number 19, and pretty nice copy. Not high grade probably. All-Star Super Squad, and in first Power Girl on there. That one might go in. There's another Suicide Squad. These don't get alphabetized. I just throw them in there. Keep showing the Bronze Age. Looks great. Well, maybe I'll do something else special for you too then, if you like that, Graphic Man. Movie World's in here. Hey, Movie World, nice to see you. There's Marvel Team Up number 1. That's a pretty nice, I'd say it's a high grade. Couple little spine ticks on there, but nothing too major going on. So this is just some of the books that I will probably be submitting to CBCS. We've got this Marvel Premiere #1, another great 20-cent #1 right there. We got the Premiere with Iron Fist #15 in there. Absolute Vertigo. This is the first Preacher. I've got a nice Preacher run. Oh, there's a Preacher #1. Speak of the devil, I guess. So we've got Preacher #1 and the preview of Preacher right there. And let's see what else we have. Put these away. I don't know why I refuse to bag and board these. I've just never bagged and boarded them. This is 320 and 321. Archie 320 and Archie's Girls 321. And I think this one is the first Cherry Blossom. Maybe this is a bad condition one, so I won't submit it. But I have another one that's really nice, and I forget on this. This might have been a second or a preview or something like that. I don't know why those are in there, to be honest. They're not even bagged or boarded. So who knows what's going on in the mind of Silver Age Dave at any given moment. We never know. I've got this Rye #0, which is a pretty common one, I think, nowadays. Someone must have found a big box of these at some point. I forget who it was in the YouTube community. But this one I've had forever, and it's an unopened, perfect condition. So I'm always looking at what's a 9.8 or better. How to Draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one's a great condition one. And this actually, another one that's not bagged or boarded. Cool wraparound on it. And these go to my son Gabe. He's a Ninja Turtle fan, but I don't know why that's still in there and why it doesn't have a bag. Beats me. There's another Claws of the Cat #1 that happens to be in there. So let me throw these in. Okay, this one's an interesting one. Teen Titans. This is #42. I've got, I think, a bunch of these, and I've got a bunch of 43 that are in here, and then a bunch of 44 that are in this particular box. And so I don't know why I just kept these all together, but some of these will go in and get slabbed up. I don't know if anyone watched the Comic Tom, and he had a video the other day. Well, let me finish this box and then we'll talk about that video. Okay, so there's another Marvel Tales, so maybe I'll send in a couple of those. A couple of these Nova #1s are in real nice shape, so I'm a big fan of that series. I've got a real nice one up here on the wall. Can't really see it, but a nice graded one. So I'll probably send in a couple of those. Wolfman, great stuff. Wolfman and Buscema, great collaboration on that. Let's see. So I've got this Spider-Woman #1 that looks to be in great shape. Young Avengers, I think, is hot. And I have 1 to 5 all in unread mint condition. So that heated up recently, and so those, maybe more than just that one, will go in. There's another Spider-Woman #1, Spider-Woman #1. Is that what? Yeah, so let me put those so they're together at least. So we'll send in a few of those. And I have a cousin, Jessica, who married a guy named Drew. And I thought it's really, really neat. So, nice little tie-in with them. So maybe they'll get one of those for a present at some point. Let's see what else we have in here. I don't actually know. This is an ash can edition from 1994 of War Machine, okay? And it's a black and white comic. It says continues in War Machine #1. So I don't know if anyone has shown this off, but it's a cool little thing. And I have the other, the first appearance of War Machine. I've got a few of those, but I thought it was a cool thing, so I put it in the box another Star Wars #1, probably submit. This one is a cool one. I've seen a few people show this off. This came with a collection I bought at some point. It's an unread, and it's really, really great condition on there. So tight corners and beautiful. And I just always liked that cover, the Golden Age and more modern Wonder Woman meeting each other. So that's a cool one. We got this Monkeys. This is #4. I don't think I'll submit it, but it's in the box. I don't know why that's in there actually, but who wasn't a big fan of the Monkeys back then? Just some good hijinks, right? Let's see what else. Okay, so this is the end of this box. I've got these Hawk and Dove #1s that are in there, which I've always been a Hawk and Dove fan. And so I've got a couple nice copies of that. Oh, there's another one of these. This is, yeah, Cherry Blossom, I said Cherry Blossom. Cheryl Blossom app in 321. And then what's this one say on it? Oh, intro of Cheryl Blossom. So that's what was going on. Intro of Cheryl Blossom on the cover and inside story. She also appears, but not on the cover, of Jughead 325 with the same October 82 production date. So see, it pays to take notes sometimes. It takes me a long time to bag and board because sometimes I write a story. Yeah, so Movie World likes that Wonder Woman, which is pretty cool. And what else do we have? Oh, this is you know what this is? This is the original board from this Elseworlds Giant. Okay, this is a real rare pulped issue. They think there's only 700 of them in the world. And note to anyone out there, these I believe are worth a lot more raw than they are graded. So a lot of people rush off to get them graded, but I would never do that. So this particular one I wrote, talk about writing a book. I wrote the whole story of how I got it and who I bought it from and how it came to be with me. But it had the original bag from Silver Acre right there. So I cut that bag and taped that to the back of the board. And this is actually the board that it came with. So I know I've got some UK guys, and that's the only way to get this. All the US copies were pulped, and you had to get these from the UK. That's the only place they actually survived. But of the 700 that are known possibly to exist, Silver's got 2 of them. I wish I had 20 of them. But the mistake I make sometimes is I'll shout things out, and then they become hard to get. I've got this Swamp Thing. DC proudly presents Swamp Thing #1. I own a bunch of these, but that's a cool one. And so I've got that in there. And then the last ones in this box, I happen to have some of these Superman Man of Steel #18s with first Doomsday. So I might submit some of those and see what happens. So it's been a long video already. That is 63 minutes. Do you guys want to see? I used to have a whole wall of 20-cent #1s. I happen to have that box back here. If you guys would like to see them, I can show. Hey, the other thing, Movie World, and I showed this one off fairly recently. The other thing I do is if it's a special something in tier, like this is a signed. I bought this on the super cheap. I bought a whole collection of ASMs, and it was super cheap, and I opened it up and I said, oh, some kid wrote in there. But this is the other thing, a patented Silver Age Day tip of the day. Take pictures of what's on the inside, print them off, enlarge them, and then you don't have to open the book to see what's inside of there. So that is a kind of cool tip of the day. I showed this off a long time ago, and really I don't know why CGC or CBCS, I don't know why they don't do that, but you can easily do it, that you can document what's inside without opening it. Okay, so yeah, I see Grotto, I think, said, yes, we want to see him. Movie World wants to see him. Simple Simon is clapping, so I'm going to take that as a yes. And I know other people want to see some more Bronze Age. So let me grab some more Bronze Age. Okay, this box is simply titled Bronze Age #1. So I'm going to get rid of the key box that's over here. And in a perfect world, these would just be with their friends. Now, these aren't all 20 centers, but it's just called, oh, you know what? I showed this box a long time ago, and it's crazy. I'm going to go on a limb and say I guarantee that this is probably the best collection of just what it is so there's some oddball number ones in here that you most likely you haven't seen, or if you saw them, you forgot about them. So we'll just start going through these. Let me turn this sideways. You guys having fun, hopefully, with this video. And we're going to go, whatever this takes, another 10 minutes. Woody Warren's in here. Okay, nice to see you, Woody Warren. We're going to give you some more Bronze Age. So these are not in any particular order. But I think they are all number one issues in this whole box. So let me get some stuff out of the way. This is, I say it as Kazar. Some people say Kazar. And tomato, tomato, right? So that's a number one issue. So beautiful. Again, this is not signifying these as a key. It's just signifying that they're number ones. This is a 4-battle number one, 20 center. And a lot of these are 20 cent. And it's got a great stamp on it if you look right there at the top. And you might notice there's a little star there. So I can't tell you for the life of me if that has an insert in it. I'm not going to open it up to find out, but you know, it looks like that was maybe a military base comic at some point. Okay. So we've got the 4-battle. You know what I'm going to do? I'll put these here and I'll line them up this way. So we're coming across. We've got a Shanna the She-Devil number one. Beautiful. Kazar. I pronounced the strong A. Kazar. I like it. It sounds like a pirate when you say it that way too. Kazar. So, I'm going to tell a joke if you guys want me to tell a joke. You can see that these are 20 cent number ones. So did you hear about the pirate captain that walked into a bar and he had a giant ship steering wheel hanging out of his fly? And walks up to the bar to order his ale. And the bartender says, "Hey, Captain, I don't know if you noticed or not, but you have a giant ship steering wheel hanging out of your fly." And the captain looks at him with his one eye and says, "Aye, and it's driving me nuts." I like that joke. If it's International Pirate Day, you have my permission. You take credit for that joke and you tell it. There's not a lot of clean pirate jokes. All right, so that's plop number one. I own a bunch of these. I bought new old stock from a guy a bunch of years ago. So I might own 20 of those. And this cover itself, plop changed my life, says Grotto. There you go. This cover is really cool because it's credited as a Sergio Aragonés cover, but it's really not. What happens is it's Sergio Aragonés only did this border, and I think the back of the book. This one I should have done with the board inside, like in the middle. Sometimes I'll do that. You cut the board down a little bit and you put it in the middle so you can see wraparounds. But I think the back of this has Sergio Aragonés. But this here was not Sergio. It was really this border that went around the outside. And there was something special about this border, you were supposed to find, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. So maybe you... yeah, it's Barry Windsor Smith, I do believe, did this, but Aragonés did the outside. So I believe you're right on that. So, okay, so we've got those, and I'm going to put these in. Again, they're in no order. Actually, this is when it would be smart to start another short box. How are we going to do this? Because that's pretty full. I'm just going to leave some of these out. Okay, so then what we've got a Shazam number one. The Rock is certainly bringing heat to the Shazam story. Love that one. This is a Marvel 2-in-1 number one. Beautiful. And a lot of these are going to be in really, really great shape, but I'm going to have an equal number that are, red and have spine ticks. This is the reprinting. Boy, I sure wish I had the first printing of this. I think Simon Comics has a first printing. There's a few guys that DS might have Knights of Old. I think I don't remember, but there's some people in the community that have these, and I'm jealous of that. I'd love to have them. Oh, Basil Wolverton. Okay, that could be too. So I'm not an expert. Was Superman only on the cover, or was he also in the interior of Shazam 1? Don't remember. I do not remember. I haven't had Shazam 1 open in ages, and my memory is just not gonna hold. Um, so we've got Mighty Thor starring in Marvel Spectacular. I've got a bunch of these. I always love Thor, and if I see him, I buy him. And so this Marvel Spectacular series had a lot of nice Thor um, stuff in it, little reprints, and so that's a great one. We've got Crazy #1. This copy looks pretty nice, but it's very wavy, and really would benefit from a press. So that's nothing I'm going to submit, but I do own a press now. I'm waiting for the electrical to be hooked up. It runs. It's a big press. I'll do a video on it someday, but I can fit 5 comic books in it at a time. It's a commercial T-shirt press, like very expensive, and I know a guy who had a T-shirt business going out of business pretty fast. So Kingpen, thank you so much. He says no Superman in the story. And Simple Simon, I remember seeing it Shazam book for 20 when I started collecting and didn't pick it up. Yeah, I don't know what they're worth now, but I like keeping some of these. I like keeping some of these just separate, so I know about them. Korg, 70,000 BC. If Luther Manning's in there, or I know Bad Avenger, I know a lot of you guys grew up buying these Charltons, certainly Charlton 66, but that was just a great, look at that cover on there. Incredible. So we've got that one, and we've got this weird Wonder Tales #1, which I always liked. And if memory serves me, this was a Kirby cover, maybe. That weird Wonder Tales were Kirby reprints of some sort. But I could be wrong on that. But boy, doesn't that look like Kirby stuff? I do not know. I do not know. I don't remember. And I'm sticking to that. Sticking to that story. We have Worlds Unknown, #1. Let me stand these up a little better. I gotta tilt them back. The other tip of the day, you guys might know this, but always have lots of cardboard in the front, in the back of your boxes. I'm going to flip that around. And that helps save the books a little bit. They're not hitting where the flap edge is and getting a crease in them right here. So Worlds Unknown, did I show that one already? We've got Worlds Unknown #1. That's a beautiful one. Oh, is that Marie Severin on there? That's great to know. All right, on what was that, Crazy? Rima the Jungle Girl. I always liked this one, and I own a bunch of these, but that's a first issue, 20-cent #1 right there. Rima looks great. Yeah, I love Rima. Then we've got, why am I turning it backwards? Turn it frontwards. There you go, Rima. A little respect for you. Man Thing #1. And I just saw the other day, I don't know where it is. It's funny, the old comic creators really rubbed elbows. I think it was back in the day, everything was in New York, and I think a lot of these cats went out to the same bars and hung out and went to parties together, whether they did DC or Marvel. But I just found the other day my Heap #1, and what was funny is Heap and Swamp Thing and Man Thing all came out at the exact same time, like within a month of each other. They all came out, and Heap might have been first, but DC and Marvel jumped right in there, and they had their own swampy creature. that all came out. And obviously, you know, the similarities between Swamp Thing and Man Thing. And I can't remember where that heap is. I just had it in my hands the other day. And if I had that out, you'd say, yeah, those three all look the same. Or virtually the same. You know, there's only so much you could do with a swamp monster. When you're in New York, I guess they all look the same. If they were in Florida, they might have some different versions, but they were in New York. So here's Secret Origins #1, great issue. And we're not to the really, really unique stuff, but hopefully you guys like this stuff. I love this stuff. Gunhawks #1, some Westerns. War is Hell. The country goes through different phases where they go from war comics to cowboy comics, and then they go to horror comics, and you know there's always going to be a little bit of romancy stuff in there, but you know that's part of my theory behind some of the horror stuff that's out right now. I don't want to say flash in the pan because I frankly don't know enough about it, but I don't know if that stuff's going to have the holding power. There's Monster of Frankenstein #1. That's a great one. Look at that. It's almost like a early Grey Hulk. We've got Western Team Up #1, 20 center, another one. Oh, they used to play softball together. That's right. Someone on eBay, if you search Marvel Mania, they have, I think it's a Marvel Comics baseball jersey that was an unworn. They used to have their own jerseys. So I thought that was really neat. They want a fortune for it, so it's, you know, out of my price range. Trigger Twins #1. Isn't that funny? It has a whole different connotation today, Trigger Twins, than it did back then. Back then it was itchy trigger finger, maybe, and nowadays it's people getting triggered. But you know, just funny stuff. Okay, this one is another great one. I heard someone saying the other day they are a fan of Sherlock Holmes. Maybe it was Comic Tom, and I felt like commenting that I'm really proud. I've compiled the whole run of Sherlock Holmes, and that's it right there, #1. And I own a couple of those. That's a 25-cent #1. It was just the one issue. That's it. That's the complete thing. You got Simonson cover and Cruz art. It's October and September 1975. Okay, so cool issue there. Let's put those up. Mad About Millie. And I always collect Millie. I always like Millie. And I'm not a diehard, but if I see him, I add him, and that's a #1. And that's the queen size special #1. And it's a square bound. And check out the binding on that, how beautiful that is. That one really held up. That one's nice. A little scrunch at the top, but still beautiful. There's a Black Goliath #1, 25 center. Great covers. You really could not miss in the Bronze Age. One of my favorite shows as a kid, you'd get home from school and you'd watch Emergency. Would sometimes be on. I think it was a later night show initially, but then for some reason I think it became an after school special type thing where they'd run them. So that's a 30-cent #1. Love that show. Can't remember a darn thing about it. Just like SWAT. I always liked the show SWAT and can't tell you two things about it. Here's Fury of Firestorm #1. Another great issue to have. All right, slide these back. And this is a big box of some really cool stuff. Hopefully you guys are liking this. Millie are hard to find in super condition because girls would cut out the paper dolls. Oh, look at that. I did not know. But that makes sense. World of Krypton #1, 40 center now. Great issue to have. I probably have quite a few of those. Oh, hey, check it out. We have The Creature. Not exactly Swamp Thing or Man Thing or Heap, but pretty cool issue. I picked up somewhere at some point. Cool Dell. This is #1. Look at that creature. That guy's really cool. I just love that. That sinking boat back there. That is really, really cool, isn't it, guys? Oh, hey, speak of the devil. Yeah, heap's not exactly a swamp thing, but pretty basic. There's a heap. Okay, so we've got heap number one. I don't know what year this was from, but this is a Skywald book. 1971. There we go. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, 1971 heap number one. So now you've seen all the swamp creatures that all came out, and it could be unbelievable thing emerges from the murky Amazon jungle. I don't think it was, but maybe the movie was based off of this. I don't know enough about it. I saw this at Fantastic Con in Toledo, and just had to have it. I just thought it was spectacular. So let's grab some more of these out. This one's a really, really cool one. This is Special Marvel Edition number one. I own a couple of these. Again, a Thor fan, you've got to own it. And look at the square bound on that. It's just beautiful. Love that one. So we've got that. We've got the Deep number one. This is getting a little more modern. That's a 60-cent Marvel movie special, but still a really cool one. And I'm a scuba diver, so anything with the the ocean on it, I'm gonna be a big fan. So let me put these here. We got J Boxer in here, and we've got Phil in here. Great to see you, Phil and J Boxer. Silver is live. Yeah, I got a long day of work, so why not start with recess, right? If you got a long day of school, get to school early and start with recess. That's my other tip of the day. There's an Elvira House of Mystery number one. Really cool one. I think people like this cover. I wish I bought up a big stack of them back then, but I bought one, and it's in pretty nice condition. Let's see here. Manufacturer. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so we've got that. I got a lot to get through here. This one is Strange Sports number one. I always like the strange sports type issues. Anything with Elvira is worth getting. Here's the Smurfs number one. I gave a whole set of Smurf books to my sister, who's 9 years younger than me, and she was a big Smurf fan. So she's got a whole mint set of those. This one is Kong the Untamed, another one of those great covers as a kid. If you saw this on the newsstand, who is not going to buy that? Look at that bad boy. Another nice 25-cent number one. Here you got Knight Rider number one. This is the 25-cent version, not the Silver Age version. Just a great cover. How can you go wrong? Hey, everybody loves Gavs. Greeting from Ireland. Off topic, do you have any experience with pressing comic books with an iron and Teflon paper? I do not. I've seen it done. I don't think it's going to stick. Okay, I bought a big press. I'm going to press, but what my experience is, if you don't press it and then let it cool down and then cold press it, I think it goes back. I think paper has a memory to it, and so I think you have to get it hot enough, and you have to get it moist, and then you have to do a cool down press long enough. So I'm not the expert on that. There's lots of people. If you ask ETA Nick, he'd probably be the guy to talk to about something like that. Or Luther Manning isn't currently making content, but he would be an expert. And certainly Erod or Strictly Comics. Those guys, know everything there is about pressing, and could answer that better. Art Bikes and Comics. Good morning. So this is a 25-cent number one. We're just going through a box of mostly Bronze Age number ones. And then this one always makes me happy. and I don't know if it's a number one or not, but it's a Gold Key Happy Days, and you gotta love Happy Days. If you're my age, that is some great stuff. So we've got those, and I'm going to start putting some of these back in here since I've made some room. Okay, yeah, we're getting into some oddities coming up. This is a Red Sonja number one. I always think of Area 51 Mike whenever I see Red Sonja. So that's a number 130 center. The Mighty Isis, number one, now in her own magazine, DC TV. You really don't see a lot of these Isis comics. This probably is the only one I own. Now it's time for Stump the Band. If Bad Avenger's still in there, now we get to some weird ones that I never see anyone owning. This is Starlight number one. And I can't tell you if there was a Starlight number two, but there was a Starlight number one, and that is it right there. That's something you won't see every day. We've got this Charlton Bullseye number one. That's a 50-cent cover. We've got the Question, and we've got the Blue Beetle on there. This is from 1981. Beautiful. Another great one that makes me smile, Captain Caveman. We've got TV Stars number one, 35 center. It's in really nice shape. Couple of spine ticks, but we'll take those. And we've got Crypt of Shadows. Back to, you can see there's no order here whatsoever. 20-cent number one, Crypt of Shadows. Beautiful. And then the last one in this grab is Vault of Evil number one. All right, so let's put these in the box. And I don't worry about these being in any type of order. They're just kind of thrown together. Here we've got a Top Dog number one, Star Comics, Marvel's little cartoon experiment they did. That's a great one. What a friendly, happy cover, right? That one's in real nice shape. See, like some of these are books that I probably should send in for press and grade because just the uniqueness of them. Here's Tiger Man from Atlas Comics, 25 center. We've got Marvel Double Feature number one. Great cover on there. It's really funny to me. Some covers are just the big cover. They're just cover buys. And really there's so many. If it was a fair world, there'd be thousands of books that were, worth a lot of money just because the cover's so great. I've always liked this cover, Supervillain Team Up number one, 25 center. And then we've got Tarzan, All New Stories in Weird Worlds. This is a number one. This is 1972. Champion Sports, number one. We had Strange Sports. Now we have Champion Sports. In a more perfect world, those two issues would have been together, but as you can see, these kind of get shuffled and they get all mixed up. So I've never bothered alphabetizing them. Wanted number one. And then the last one in this set is really just a terrific cover. War number one, Charlton Comics. Try to get some glare off that. Shiny Happiness. When you have the Mylars. Okay, let me put these in here. And then we've got a King Comics issue to open the next set. Maybe a lesser known title. This is Jungle Gym. I don't think it's an issue number one. I actually don't know why it's in here. Maybe it is a number one. Maybe no, actually it says number 5 on it. So I don't know what that guy's doing in here. I'm putting together a box. I'm putting him right back in the box. I'm putting together a box of like King Comics. ACG will have its own box. Charlton will have its own box. Dell will have its own box. Speaking of horror comics I've talked about today, here's Beyond the Grave #1. That's a beauty. Try to get in up close and personal on that. Great artwork. I have no idea why I've got these in here. This is Solo Avengers Hawkeye #1, 75 center, and there's a Nightcrawler miniseries. These are going to get put somewhere. I'm going to file those with where they're supposed to be. That's how messes start. You say, I'm going to do this, and then 6 years goes by and you don't do it. Claw #1, 25 center. Hey, Aggressively's in here. Nice to see Aggressively. Shanna the She-Devil, 20 cent #2. I don't know why she's in there because this is #1s, but I'm not going to make myself crazy. Muppets Take Manhattan. This is issues 1 to 3. And again, I have no idea why this is in there other than my sister's a Muppet fan. And we grew up watching the Muppets because she loved the Muppets so much. I was a little old, but I enjoyed, the laughs. And those two theater critics guys, man, they are funny. I like those. Can't go wrong with Fozzie Bear and that drummer and those, so many fun things about that show and that series. Okay, and as some of you might know, Muppets were half of the feature of the early Saturday Night Live. The first, episode or two of Saturday Night Live was really a lot of Muppet stuff was going on. And first episode of Saturday Night Live might as well be called the Paul Simon Show, which is beautiful. If you haven't watched it, very funny, a lot of music, and they can have Manhattans as graphic man. Yeah, let them have it. Flintstones #1. I wish I had the 35 cent. I've never seen one. I don't know anyone that owns one, and they're out there, but I haven't found one. And I've found a lot of 35 centers, but I've never found that. So let me put these away. We got DC Superstars. I showed off, I think, some DC Superstars recently, some of the space issues, or I made a video and didn't put it out, but a lot of cool stuff there. This is #1. DC Superstars presents the Teen Titans. That's a great book to have, and that's a square bound. That's in really, really nice square bound shape. So happy with that one. I regret not bringing a water in with me. Jonah Hex #1. I know our good friend, the great legend, is a Jonah Hex fan. Fantastic Four and Jonah Hex. That were his two big things I remember him talking about. So there's Jonah Hex #1, 30 center. We've got Atlas Comics Fright featuring the Son of Dracula #1, 25 center. It's in beautiful shape. Check out I should show the spines when they're in great shape, but I always question, how do things survive? But you get people like me that just, straight to bag and board sometimes. There's Morlock 2001 #1, Atlas Comics. These are books you will not see every. I'm going to refresh my my browser. This is a long video. So we've got Monster Hunters #1, Modern Comics, another one you won't see every day. And again, some of these are in such good shape, I really should slab them. I have no plan of ever taking them out and reading them. So maybe that would be the smart money for me. Cross and the Switchblade. Spire Comics, some of these stories, they're a little hokey, but this one's a really great one. I really, really enjoy the story here. If you don't read the Spire Comics stuff, you're missing out a little. Great messaging in here. And that's a #1. Cobra #1. Another great Bronze Age cover. What's that say? 25 cents on it? Okay, so it beats me, says Bad Avenger. Some of these maybe stump the band. We'll see. Here's a Phoenix number 1. Look at that. How did that not become a big deal? Look at that cover. Richard Dragon. Here we go. That's a number 1. Beautiful cover. Would we say arguably the greatest fighter in the DC universe? Ghost Castle number 1. 25 cent. Another beauty. That killer mushroom. Micronauts number 1. This one is in really nice shape. Probably could use a press. I can't tell if the board is a little warped, but otherwise corners look nice and the spine looks nice on it. Micronauts number 1, the new Voyages. For people a little younger than me, you might know what these are. 60 center. New Age number 1. All right, we'll put these away. Another comic I own because my sister was a fan. No Need to Fear. Underdog is here, right? Those cartoons played over and over and over. And a newsstand at that. $1.50 cover price. Spotlight Comics, premiere issue. 1987 Leonardo TTV. And we got Jim Ingle right there. Movie World says Phoenix was a great sci-fi epic. There you go. Remember there was an ad in the back for Planet of the Apes 8mm. How about that? We've got Cougar number 1. This is April of 1975. A lot of stuff going on in that cover. What are these guys doing? Just practicing? I don't know if they're part of the battle or not. Is that the same guy? Yeah, that's the same guy. Oh, okay. That's the Cougar. See? He's spinning around and he's jumping in to save the damsel in distress. I'd kill for that underdog, says Heroes Diacons. Look at that. Which one is the Cougar? Yeah, another. We talked about the Trigger twins. Maybe Cougar has a different connotation nowadays. That's funny. Secrets of Haunted House number 1. There's a swampy creature again. Lots of swampy creatures. Another one of my favorites. I can't say it enough. Pope John Paul. Marvel did these religious issues. There's a St. Francis number 1. And there's a bunch of them, but they're great. Put these here. And, I'm going to put those away. And then Ewoks number 1. This is a Star Comics. And that's another one. It's a black cover, but look at the corners on there. It's in really nice shape. Couple very, very minor spine stresses, maybe. But for the most part, that looks beautiful for a black cover. Love that one. Let me put that up here. That's so pretty. All right, we're getting to the end of this box. We got maybe 30 more to go. Thor number 1. A-Team. I don't even know if it should be in the box. It's got spine ticks, not that nice, but I love the A-Team. Love it when a plan comes together, and I love the A-Team. Foofer number 1, Star Comics. Can't go wrong with Foofer. There's one you will not see all that often. The only guy I know that has one is Comic Foo. Hey, here's another underdog for you. If you're a fan, here's the icon. There's Harvey Classics Underdog Summer Special #1. This had a $2.25 cover price, and I've never seen another one, so I'm glad I've got that one. Newsstand. We've got Warlord #1. We've got Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge Adventures #1, Gladstone. Put these away. We've got Haunted Love #1, first edition. Haunted House cover. Let's take a peek if I can find it in here. Cougar traditionally did a good job of putting his name on covers. Which one? Haunted House. Secrets of Haunted House. I don't think so. The only indication, and the name's not coming to me, the only indication I would have, this looks like initials down in this corner, but off the top of my head I can't say if it's part of the art or initials, but I don't see Kubert's name on there anywhere. Okay, we've got 2 more stacks to do. This is Atlas Comics Blazing Battle Tales featuring Sergeant Hawk #1. It's a really great 25 center. Oh, that sounds right. Luis Dominguez. That sounds right. Thank you, Graphic Man. Lomax, another Atlas #1. I think we had a Gunhawks earlier, but there's a Gunhawks one, so I won't linger. This one is beat to heck. I really don't know why it's in here. Just as an example, this is Giant Size Fantastic Four #2, but if... yeah, that shouldn't be in there. That's beat. Giant Size Super... oh, the reason that's in there is because #1... I think was Giant Size Superstars, something of that nature was the #1. So this is actually the first Giant Size Fantastic Four is issue #2. Okay, so that's why that's in there, but it's a junk reader copy. Let me show you the spine slide on that bad boy. Look at that thing. Okay, you do not have to feel guilty. And it's really a shame that it's otherwise in really good shape. So I don't know what happened to it. The prior owner... it got gouged a little. ARG #1, or not ARG, back to the pirate stuff. Cross and Switchblade could have been a movie Bad Avenger. Again, the story's hokey, but it's really, really great. It's about these kids in the inner city, impoverished area, and they're getting bullied, and there's drugs and pressure, and there's potentially a girl that is young and maybe on the verge of doing street walking stuff, and this pastor doesn't give up. He keeps connecting with them, and then a gang is like bullying him to go away, but he sticks to his mission, and he ends up saving some of these kids, but he's not doing the saving. They're saving themselves. That's the key with life. But they correct the error in their ways. So it could have been a movie. How about that? Grotto Orloff, thank you. Marvel Super Action #1, 30 center. Beautiful homage there. Put that up here. Count Duckula. You will not see Count Duckula #1 all that often from Marvel Comics, but there it is. Now you can say you've seen it all. And I happen to have issue #3 there, so I don't know why. Steel Grip Starkey, #1 in a 6-issue series from Epic. There's Steel Grip. He's gripping something. All right, let me get rid of these. As anyone knows, I'm a big fan of Howard the Duck. So here's a Howard the Duck #1 king size annual. And here's Howard the Duck #1. We showed the adventures in the Fear 19 earlier, but as long as we're having fun, I'm going to take this down. I own a bunch of these, but it's finally starting to get a little bit of appreciation. This is Foom #15. I probably own 3 or 4 of these, and this is it's a September 1976 issue, and it's got Howard the Duck, of course, but it's also got a preview of Miss Marvel, and it's got a preview of Captain Britain in it. And for years you were able to pick these up affordably, but now they're starting to heat up, so they're becoming less affordable. But that's a cool Foom comic in there. I'm actually sending some Fooms in. I don't know if CBCS does magazine size. I don't think they do, but I've got Jim Steranko's original Foom kit, which has issues 1, 2, and 3 in it, which were unread and they were unmailed. He just picked them up when he went into work, and I happen to own those that I bought from a guy a long time ago that bought them from Steranko's wife or something to that nature. So those need to get graded just for the sake of grading. There's Strawberry Shortcake #1, and this is a cool Star Comics Marvel experiment. Hands of the Dragon #1, Atlas Comics. Atlas did a nice job on covers. Karate Kid #1. So we've got a couple of these in there. I'll just show the one. 25-cent #1 issue. The fun keeps going. 30-cent #1 Logan's Run. I loved Logan's Run. Farrah Fawcett in that show. And I think I have an original poster somewhere in here from Logan's Run. There's an empty board. Don't know why that is. Maybe I got more empty boards. Maybe that's the end. This is the last stack. I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple empties. Sometimes if I have boards that are junky or bags that are junky, I'll just throw them in the back of a box just to add some protection to things. So we've got a couple of these generic comic book #1s. It really is bad, so I wouldn't go out of my way spending money on it. But it was just a little funny thing Marvel did in the 80s. And yeah, and these aren't #1s. I don't know actually why these are in here. Melvin Monster. Oh, this one's a #1. Royal Roy. That's what we have to finish the video today. So thanks everyone for sticking with me so long. Hopefully you had fun and saw some stuff you wouldn't otherwise see. I gotta get to work. This video was supposed to be maybe a 30-minute. I should have probably stopped it at 30, but you know, I want to show you guys what you want to see. So hopefully you saw it, and that's that. So thank you again, everyone. Be awesome today. No running for me today. I ran quite a bit earlier this week. Friday I'm doing 24 miles. Saturday I'm doing 20 miles. And the thing is, I don't always feel like running. Calling sick, he says, yeah, my boss is a real jerk, and I can't do that. Now I'm my boss, and I do have to get some work done so I can take tomorrow off and run. But I don't always want to run, and that's the thing about exercise or you know, any type of hobby or activity. You don't always want to. Sometimes you need to motivate yourself, and that's what's going to be Friday and Saturday. And then I start my taper for the Mohican 100-mile run, which I think is June 19th and 20th in Mohican Park, which is in kind of southeast, I think, of Columbus, or somewhere near Columbus, Ohio. I don't know, but we're going to go there in June and run a whole 24 hours, 27 hours. So I'm getting into that taper is coming soon. Very exciting time for me. Woody Warren, thank you so much. Really am so happy to spend the morning with you guys, and I'll look forward to more adventures on the next video. Okay, so that's it, guys. Be awesome. Silver Age Dave is out.